Good afternoon. How are you? I'm fine. I thank God that He has given us this opportunity to connect again. Today we'll be talking about shaming, and I probably think you may have heard about body shaming or other forms of shaming. And I thought it's a good topic that we may cover so that we may get to know that some of these habits do not augur very well with the people that we live with in our community or in our society. And I'll start probably by getting the definition of what is shaming. And shaming is the negative judgments that people make about a person based on solely one factor, probably because of your perception towards them. You base your judgment on that one sole factor. Probably you may not even know somebody so much, but based on that one factor that you have observed and perceived, you make a negative judgment. So that is what is shaming, and we may have seen it in the community or even had somebody calling out someone in a certain name, or even labeling them, or even telling them uh, physically that you need to maybe work on your body, and maybe they do not even know. Probably you're going through a medication process, or even that chemo, and they do not know you actually very well before they make that perception. So shaming is a bad form of societal behaviors. So we need to actually overcome it. And I was just thinking we need to check what is the origin of this shaming. You know, we say that, or rather, we are taught that we are living in a community, we are living in an environment, and all of us somehow are shaped by that environment. So, how you grew up formed some of these behaviors that today today they form your way of perceiving things. So what are some of these things that maybe you saw your parents or your guardian, telling themselves about themselves? Probably when they look at themselves, they can downgrade or downsize themselves, or maybe comment about their hair, their body. And as one grows up, you tend to pick up those small and bad habits. Those the way your parents labeled themselves, the way your parents, it's a form of shaming, because you will transfer the same to another person if you're not very, very careful. What are the comments maybe the parents make on the children? When you get that report card, what kind of a message do you pass to your children? Do you probably tell that child you're very stupid, you're very, wewe ni mjinga, maybe kama, let me not just the whole thing, shaming a child probably even in front of others. What are the messages that our teachers, telling our children? I was remembering, I think, a time when a teacher told me that, I don't think you can work well in this subject, even as hard as you try. And ultimately, that comment pulled me so down in that subject. Thankfully, it's one of the subjects that we were shelving out when we were going to the next class. So shaming can make one lose their own self-esteem. They can make that child lose even the interest to know a subject better, because shaming is not a good moral fiber in the society. So what are some of the things or the messages also that we see on TV? What are these? You tend to see some adverts and you're wondering, they're actually shaming one another. You may just look at a person and start comments, this person has lost weight. You don't even know the person or even want to know what they have gone through to be where they are, but you're already shaming them. My dear brothers and my dear sisters, it is a high time we get conscious. By the way, counseling and all this enlightenment and psychotherapy is all about our consciousness coming, our unconsciousness coming to the conscious, so that we may realize some of these vices that are actually affecting the people and the society that we are living in. Because once you become conscious about something, you'll be very keen, even with how you handle them. You'll be very keen with how compassionate you are with them. So watch out for the things that you're watching on social media, on TV, the adverts. Are they making all women naked, and shaming? You tend to make a perception that probably all ladies are like that. Shaming is not a good thing. Parents, when we are parenting, let's make positive comments. We have heard that shaming is about making negative judgments about a person based on one factor, based on your perception. So it's the high time. Watch out even what you're telling your child. Watch out what you're telling yourself about yourself. Because if you define yourself wrongly, you are passing the same information to the child. The brain of a child as it grows, it will grow thinking that it is normal to shame a person. It is normal, probably even to shame somebody because of their weight gain. Maybe they are obese. We see uh, in the developed countries, people struggling with obesity, but probably because you do not want to know what are these struggles they are going through. There are people who just get overweight because of their eating habits, or maybe a disorder. Maybe they are depressed. But you're there shaming them and pulling them down, probably even calling them out in a public place and shaming them before people. I had such a recent encounter and I actually didn't like it. So people have a way of shaming others in front of people, and it also shows there's also something that is wrong with you. So probably some insecurity, some underlying issues that that person has, for them to make judgments against people. So it's the high time we rise up and talk against shaming, body shaming, character shaming, and all that. So may God help us. When we read in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah 61, verse 7, it says that it is about the restoration or the coming of the prophecy concerning the coming of Jesus, and the restoration and the good things and the names that he will give to people. And verse 7 talks of, instead of their shame, my people will receive a double portion. Instead of disgrace, they will rejoice. So who are we to shame? Christ died. He took that shame. He gave us a divine exchange for a double portion. So let us not shame at each other. Let us walk in the confidence and the double portion that the Lord Jesus Christ has given each and every one of us, so that we may live in a community that is compassionate about others, that is empathetic with each other, that wants to know a person more before you make that judgment. So that it's not only at book value. Don't just look at somebody on the face and make that shaming comment. In fact, I have this mantra within myself. If I don't have something to say, I better not say it. And I would encourage you probably the same thing. If you have nothing to say, and especially if you're conscious you want to say something wrong, if you have nothing to say, don't say it. Okay? Instead of garbage out people, which will ultimately probably hurt them or make them feel their self-esteem is very low. So maybe challenge ourselves, maybe stop the shaming, maybe help each other compassionately to look at each other as the Lord looks at us, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made before the eyes of God. And you don't need to prove that, who you are in the other person, so that, you will look better. Let us stop the shaming habit and overcome and be conscious of how we handle each other. And ultimately, we shall have a community of people that are knowing who they are and progressing their God given mandate in a good environment. Thank you so very much, and may the Lord bless you. Thank you.